people decide to take the stand and say, I'm going to do something better for myself, those who don't have the mindset or the will to do it, look at that person as if, who are you to be better? Who are you to think that you're doing good? And it comes, that mentality comes.
It's great to be here with you in this beautiful place. Today we are here with the guy, Rel himself, man. Just wanted to sit down and pick your brain and have a conversation with you, because not only me and the impact that I can receive from hearing the things that you got, there's a lot of other me's in the world that need to hear your story and the things that you got through, overcome, experience, so you might be able to help them along their journey as well. So I'll start by just an introduction, if you don't mind.
Okay, my name is Tyrel. Everybody calls me Rel for short. The owner of the barbershop and Gentleman Suite. Also have a mentorship program labeled Acquire Skillful Direction.
Okay.
I have a checkered past myself, so being able to take intentional steps to get me to the point that I'm at in my life now, it's been one of my biggest, I guess you would say, endeavors to undertake. Just wanting to be able to impart the best that I have to be able to give to other people so that they can see the best in themselves. And there's a lot of times where, as I was younger, I was searching for who I am as an individual, what that looked like for me, what I like, what I don't like, being able to actually voice that. Certain things that, especially African American men who grow up in impoverished communities, single mother homes, we're creatures of having relatable examples.
Mm-hmm. So what would you say, but being that you said that for that African American, that me as well, grew up with that single mother without the father in the household, what advice would you give them?
Advice, I can give a lot of advice, but I think mainly that it's okay if you don't got it together. It's okay if you don't know it all right now. I think one of the biggest things is that society puts so much pressure on young men to automatically look like they came in at the top, when there's a process to success. You know what I'm saying? There's a social side to success. You know what I mean? And not even like financially, just being a good person, whether that's being mentally, physically, emotionally, or spiritually. Can you be successful in saying I have to get up on time and go to work? That's a success. You know what I mean? So in certain areas, just getting people to see that it starts with you. You have to believe it. If you don't believe it, you can't expect someone else to. Insecurity, lack of confidence comes out very easy to others who've made their mind up to be intentional about the decisions they make. Mm-hmm. And so when you see the hesitancy, it kind of puts you in a place where you're like, okay, this individual isn't serious about whatever it is they may or may not be trying to do.
Yeah.
You have to have faith in yourself, but if you haven't worked to build yourself up into an individual that you can trust, then it's, most likely the outside relationships that you garner are gonna fail. We all want certain friends, qualities, lifestyles, and those things only come a lot of times when we build up the individual who we are.
Gotcha.
You have to pour into yourself before you're able to pour into anybody else's cup.
Okay. So I see that, thank you for that wisdom, man. First of all, sheesh. I notice a lot of us, especially in the Black community, the influence that we have is a lot of rappers, smoke a weed, get drunk, pop pills, drink lean. We don't see too much of that. We don't see too much of this. We don't. So for the people that's not right here in the city of Atlanta, right here in Midtown, like how would you recommend us as young Black men going through that and finding that person to look up to and to follow after?
It's a lot of times, that's what made me start the program, because a lot of times we have to reach out, because men, a lot of times, especially in society, Black men aren't celebrated. You'll see more images of, like you just said, of rappers, athletes, Black men being in this way, but there are myriads of other areas that you can employ your talents in, just besides these two lanes that are oversaturated and only a few succeed at. It's so, it's hard to, for those who are in those positions, you got to reach back. You have to put the examples in front of these guys. But one of the biggest things that stops a lot of guys in these scenarios from being able to reach out is the fear of being different, only because you want to be better. And so it's like,
Can you say that again?
The fear of being different even though you're trying to be better. Because especially in the African American community, when people decide to take the stand and say, I'm going to do something better for myself, those who don't have the mindset or the will to do it, look at that person as if, who are you to be better? Who are you to think that you're doing good? And that mentality comes from the slave mentality. Like, no, this is good enough here where we're at. And when that one slave is like, I'm running because I can't deal, this is not right. You see what I'm saying? And so who are you to say that you can leave us here in this bad predicament, which is the mindset. You're going to go get freedom and leave us here? How dare you? You see what I'm saying? And it's the choice to say, you can come too. And that's the successful side of African Americanism that doesn't get portrayed, is to reach back to say, you can do this too. But
how do we get out of that mindset?
It's hard. It's study, it's self-development first and foremost, because until you love yourself, you won't understand how somebody else can be important to themselves. So can
you say that one time? Some of these is high level.
Until you start loving yourself, you don't understand how important somebody else is to themselves. And so, because what we have is a lack of people who respect individuality, which makes it hard for people nowadays to exist as part of a group.
Got you.
And so, what we're going about our daily lives, I think one time when I was telling you, people have this mentality that I can be independent, I can do it by myself, and there's no such thing. We're not independent creatures, we're interdependent. We exist because of each other. And I was telling you that it takes two people for one person to get here.
Y'all heard that? It takes two people to bring one into this world. So how are we going to do it by ourselves?
So it's like you didn't even get here by yourself. So the farce that you can live this life without other people just take and not be able to, and not have to give back to the universe in some type of way. You know what I mean? And so that starts with self-development. And the more you prove to yourself that, hey, I know what trust looks like, because if I tell myself that I'm gonna read, I'll work out, I'll better myself in these ways, I'll save my money. If I stick to that, then I learn what trust looks like. So you understand what hard works, making consistent decisions to achieve a goal looks like. You start to attract that in your life because you know what it now looks like. So the distrust you had that you would say, who are you to be better? Now you understand, I see why you want to be better. You trust yourself, you've worked on yourself, you see a better something for you. And so you learn to build with those individuals, which is kind of like the networking event concept, which is to have people of like-minded individuals be able to come together and say that, okay, everybody has different brands, but we do this together.
Gotcha. So you said networking events, that's a really big one, because I've met a lot of people, I've built a lot of relationships. I learned that it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. So how important do you feel like environments are?
Environments as in just
like events, meeting people, conversations, resources, networking?
Oh, definitely. In order to be successful in life, you have to have healthy people who are in your life, healthy places that you can go, and healthy things that you like to enjoy. And so those three components of your life will definitely dictate what trajectory you're going on in life. And, getting back to the mentorship program, which made me created because a lot of people are looking, how can they acquire skillful direction? How can I direct my life the way that I need to?
Gotcha.
And through that, I developed 10 categories that I felt like were critical to an individual's success if they were willing to partake and take the time to go through the action plan booklet to say that, hey, this is what that I'm able to do. Okay, this is the first one, whether it be time management, financial literacy, self-awareness, health and well-being, emotional intelligence, these different categories that are conducive to you being, not a rich person, not some entrepreneur, but just a regular person who's successful in the tasks they undertake every day.
Gotcha.
And so
you said, I heard booklet.
Yes. So I'm almost finished with the action plan booklet, looking to get published within the next couple of months. And what it does is it has a yearly calendar, and it also has sections for monthly and weekly goal checking to be able to see, okay, not only did I read this information regarding financial literacy, okay, but what have I done? How can I measure my growth? Because sometimes it's hard for people to see, like, how am I getting better? What do I do? How do I mark this? But here, you have a visual in front of you that allows you to be able to track, okay, I took the time to read this clip that was, put in the book, you know what I mean? If I looked up on the website and I said, okay, this is the video to watch with this section right here. Okay, I watched this, so now, okay, financial literacy. Okay, what did I do with my money today? Okay, what information did I take in about learning how to deal with money? You see what I'm saying? What did I do to impart something that I learned to somebody else so that it sticks with me? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, like, doing these different things and getting the information and having somebody be able to mark it off on a regular to say that, okay, I'm going in this area consistently. Okay, now it's time for the next category. Okay, got done financial literacy. Now it's time for time management.
Yeah.
You do successful amount of weeks with that. Okay, now not only am I doing these two, but now I can go to the third step. I can add emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Now I can work on these because now I've set a pattern where I consistently done this one thing before I added anything else to it.
Yeah.
So let me get myself together in this first one. Then we'll add to it.
Gotcha.
And it makes it in the way they're ordered, it puts it in a way where they flow together. It's like, okay, if you get time management down, then you'll be able to do goal setting. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But before you can do time management, we got to do self-awareness. Who are you?
So
What's
you'll be
your
able
why?
to literally like follow this like a guide.
Follow it's a guide,
step by step.
So
Wow.
before I get to understanding financial literacy, I need to understand emotional intelligence. Why? Because a lot of people make emotional decisions with their money.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
so like a lot of people
bro.
don't spend money or use money for the reason that it should be used. They use it to pacify or appease other people.
They buy it off emotion and they
Exactly.
justify.
And they justify that. The transfer of power gets misconstrued because you show off the receipt that, hey, I had the money, but you just gave the power to the person who sold you the outfit with the receipt.
Can you run that back real quick?
The transfer of power gets misconstrued because you're wearing a receipt. You give the money to this person. Now this individual has made a profit. You see what I'm saying? Not only did they make back the money they spent to sell you the garments, but now they made a profit off of you spending. So now you're at a deficit. You have a receipt to show that you had money to spend. See what I'm saying? Not that you have money, but that you can spend money. You always able to show me that you're able to spend money. That's cool. I don't want that image. Somebody, you look good, you got the latest, cool. You just showing me you can spend money. How can I make it? And how can I make the money work for me? That's the goal of having financial literacy. Because especially at the state of things in our economy today, the dollar is at a major deficit than it ever was. I
think
mean,
it's 92% now.
yeah, I mean, we've been off the gold standard for decades. So I mean, it's been coming, you know. But just the reality that we live, most people are oblivious to it. All they know is things are higher. They say the dollar's going down, but they don't understand the concept of why. People don't understand the concept of world economics.
So what is the why?
You said why?
What is the why? Yeah.
As to why the economy is the way it is now. Oh, it's because the dollar isn't backed by anything. It's just paper money. And so when you operate off a premise of debt, you can use debt to get ahead.
A lot of people have this thought process that people like you, successful individuals, kind of just land in this, or maybe it like happens overnight.
Nah.
Or you know,
It's I always say that life is like a puzzle piece. So, you know, you see those big 500,000 piece, 5,000 piece puzzles. They have these very little, small, intricate puzzle pieces that you have to align together to get the eventual outcome that you want. And that's the way life is. Your life is that big picture, and it's comprised. We all, you know, you want a house, you want a car, you want luxury, whatever. Okay, how do I achieve that? Okay, so I need to put all these little bitty puzzle pieces, which are my decisions, my choices. Okay, first it takes me saving money. Well, soon before I save money, I need to learn how to earn it. Okay, now that I saved it, okay, cool. Now how do I invest it? Okay, am I working on me? Like all these little pieces go into place till you eventually build the big old puzzle piece that you want, which is your life. And so, you know, taking those little steps, it becomes hard sometimes because if you ever open a puzzle and you see all the pieces, sometimes you're like, oh man, like how am I gonna put this together?
Yeah.
And that's the concept a lot of times we have with our own lives is like, how am I gonna put this together? But a lot of times we would more readily put them together if people didn't make others feel like because you didn't have it together that there was something wrong with that. Because the majority of people, especially the African American community, don't have assets. They have liabilities. They may have a car, but they're paying a $400, $500, $600 note on it. You see what I'm saying? It's like it's backwards.
Yeah.
You know, we got this concept of broke people trying to prove to other broke people that we're not broke. You know what I mean? And it's like you're in the same boat. You just dress. You got style, so you dress a little different. This person don't have no style, but nobody's making like extension money. You know what I'm saying?
How can we change that in the community?
Self.
Okay.
Self. You have to have individuals around. For one, black people have to see the value in their communities and the areas.
Okay.
It's hard though because the same negative images that the rest of the world gets of black people, we as black people get them too. So you got to think the way a white lady would clutch her purse across the street if you see somebody who has locks. You know, he could be a Harvard grad, but he has locks. He may have a Nike sweatsuit on. You know what I mean? He's not smiling, but he's not a threat. You know what I mean? It's just his look. That's the same image that we as black people get of each other. You see when black people go out around each other, the mentality is that, oh man, these people out here are gonna be on some BS. You know where that comes from? Because we're around each other all the time and have plenty of love and camaraderie amongst each other. But when we get out, guess what the world has told us? Y'all are bad, y'all are gonna do something, y'all aggressive, you can't control your emotions, you see what I'm saying? And so guess what you do? You have other black people looking at other black people the same way. And so it's like, it's making, and it goes back to being secure in yourself. And I tell a lot of black guys, the first thing, like, I've proven the machoisms as far as what, you know, we say is manhood. I've proven that to myself, and a lot of it didn't make me feel good, you know what I'm saying, or a better person.
What do you mean by that?
I would just say, like, you know, being in the streets, being misogynistic, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, I wanna hear kind of the backstory of who is Rel?
Real. So
who is Rel?
I'm originally from Nashville, Tennessee. Graduated high school, went to college a little bit, but I was kicked out of my mom's house. I was 15. Understandably so, because I was just being unruly, you know, and wanted to do things my way. But you know, the lifestyle I was living was putting people's lives in jeopardy, you know, at the time because of, you know, some real things we were into. And you know, just eventually, you know, over the years, you know, a couple things. And this was high school, so over the years, you know, things just continued to go and go and go. And, you know, eventually it caught up with me. And so I ended up catching a case down here in Georgia, and I ended up doing 10 years in prison. Through that time, I just saw, man, the lack of sense of self that a lot of black men have. A lot of guys are just looking for somebody to tell them, like, hey man, I see you. Hey man, good job. Hey man, I love you. You know what I mean? Society demands black men so much that to the point where it's like guys aren't able to approach another man with a sense of self and have it not be arrogant, have it not be offensive or aggressive. You see what I'm saying? Just being able to genuinely walk and say, hey, I'm so-and-so. How you doing today? What's your name, man? Just be a normal person. But you know, a lot of times it's void. It's void of emotion. We lack extreme emotional intelligence. Especially black men are taught that, you know, if you cry, you weep. Or if you express yourself, you know what I mean, you talk about, say, hey, I didn't like that, or that hurt me, that there's something wrong with that, but you're a human. And you know, from slavery days, it was always something like, if you say you're black, you're not even listed as human. And that was legal terms. Yeah.
Your property.
So, you know, just getting people to see, like, man, like, I realized that I had so many blessings, not only like family-wise, but just in my mentality, the spirit that I had, the person that I had was like, man, I'm better than this situation. I'm better than the decisions I made to call myself being successful this way. So now let's make a plan to do it a different way. And so it's sad with you know, lots of working out, lots of reading, lots of studying, exposing myself to something new. You know what I mean? If I haven't learned it, or if it's new to me, let me learn about it. Putting in the time to just say like, this suffering that I put myself through, I think that's the biggest thing, the accountability factor. I didn't blame anybody for what I did. Okay, this is what I did. Cool. I'll take my lumps, but in order for me not to feel the way I'm feeling, it's gonna take some action to change that. And so, taking in the information, working on myself, you know what I mean, keeping my nose clean out of certain situations, you know what I mean, so that I didn't, you know, get in trouble or whatever, so that I could stay focused on coming home to my family, being the best version of myself. And I was released February 7th, 2017.
Okay.
And so, it was a fabulous day, man. Family and everything came to give me. You actually see on my Instagram, I think the grand opening for my barbershop. There was a picture. It was actually a birthday post that I made, and it actually has a picture of me when the first day I was released.
Okay.
So walking through the gate. So, but it was a thankful moment, because just looking back at myself, I made my mind up that one, I wasn't going back, and that two, I was going to do better. And it's been some bumps and, you know, some ups and downs. Like, I'm not gonna say it was just the smoothest, but being at this point, I'm thankful for the growth. I'm thankful for the journey, because now I understand my purpose, which is to help other people. Some people aren't able. Myriads of guys who go through what I went through and are scarred for life. You know what I mean? They're not able to carry themselves in a certain fashion that would garner societal respect, which is just being able to be a clean-cut person, not feeling like you have to adhere to some image to be accepted as a man.
Yeah.
And for black guys, a lot of guys have to have goals or braids or dreads, tattoos, part of a gang, and all that is just trying to show that I belong, I'm good enough, I'm worthy.
Yeah.
And I saw that so much with guys, that's all they really wanted, you know what I mean?
What helped you get out of that way of thinking? Because so many, you know, some people it's like, well, that's my environment, that's what I'm used to, that's where I'm at.
I think I'm just thankful. I'm thankful to our Creator, bro, because I honestly, my whole life I've had a march to the beat of my own drum mentality. Like even being in the streets, part of gangs and just different things like that. Like I always march to the beat of my own drum. So I never thought it was cool to be stupid, no matter what vein of life you were going in.
Yeah.
Streets, legal, like you have to be intelligent. And so when I just see stupidity, like I don't care. Like if I'm doing something illegal and I see you doing something stupid, I was like, we already doing something illegal. Like that's stupid. Why be you know what I'm saying? And so like it would be a lot of times where I just would be by myself doing what I was doing, even though I had guys I associated with in those lanes. But and then just when I got to it, it was like, man, I'm too brave for a lot of these guys in this scenario. Like, you know, guys are playing the street.
Yeah.
Like I saw a lot of guys who were incarcerated because they were riding around smoking, police smell weed, and then now you caught up behind some like just stupid decisions. You know what I'm saying? Which like it ain't what you do, it's how you do it.
Yeah.
It ain't, you know what I mean? And so like I try to tell guys, I don't knock you for what you do, but just ask yourself, you about to do this, okay, if this is what you about to do, does it make sense to do it like this?
Yeah.
Like, look, are you that obvious to what you're doing, you know? And so like that same energy, you know, being intelligent, trying to be the most intelligent street guy, trying to be the hardest I just took that mentality and transitioned it to being legitimate.
Got you.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about your mentorship?
Yeah, so I've been working on the program for over a year. This fall, it'll be rolled out mid-fall for schools. I have some speaking engagements lined up. Like I said, the action plan booklet, and also having a website where people are able to communicate, stay in contact via different means, you know, because there's a survey to be a part of the mentorship program so that we can see what works best for you. You know what I mean? How do you learn? How do you communicate? Time that you're willing to obligate. You know what I mean? Because mentorship and coaching are two different things. And so a coach is a more tell you what to do, how to do it, Mentorship is for those who are willing to do the work for themselves. They see that, hey, I need guidance on what I'm trying to do. So, okay, if I could get the necessary information, if I can get the structure that I need to work for me, then this is what I'm looking for. You know what I mean? Am I willing to check in, you know, and say, hey, I did this today. Hey, I'm not feeling my best today. Hey, I slipped on this one today, but, you know, hey, look, don't beat yourself up about it. You can get back on it tomorrow, like those type of things. And so that's a pre-screen assessment to allow people to be able to see, like, hey, is this for me, you know?
Yeah. And who are you looking to work with?
High school, college, even adults, because a lot of times adults just need unbiased opinions or information that somebody help them be accountable to. And so sometimes people are willing to do the work. A lot of people are just oblivious to how they're going to do it. In today's society, we have so many tools that supposedly do things for us themselves, whether it be your banking apps, buying groceries, buying home good clothes, whatever, you know, it's just at the press of a button. But you don't do the work, you don't think it through, you don't have to go do the process, and everything is done for you. And so when it comes to you fortifying yourself with the willpower to do what you need for you, everything else is made easy. So now when it's time to work on you, that's the physical work you have to do. You have to do the reading yourself, you have to do the working out yourself, you have to do the eating right yourself, which means that you have to make the decisions when you go to the grocery store to buy the food. Like all of these things that requires you to do the work. And so getting people back to the point where you see, like, no matter how many tools we have around us to help us be better, as much of an advanced society as we are, we're more inept than ever with being able to accomplish some of the simplest things because we're so used to things doing it for us. And so, you know, you have to refortify yourself with skills, information, so that you're able to act and acquire skillful direction so that you can do that for your life. And that was what made me name the program Acquire Skillful Direction. You know, I was sitting reading the Bible one day and, you know, it just kind of clicked to me. And it was like, every day we get up, we're looking or going, some people aren't just working to pay bills. People are working jobs to say, hey, how can I take my life in whatever direction it is that I want to take it?
Yeah.
And so getting people to those points where it's like, once you see the best in yourself, then you'll be able to see the best in the world. Most people can't see the good in society because everybody's reality is a reflection of their mind state. So if you feed murder, lies, rape, robbery, trap music, love and hip hop, if you go to sleep to Law and Order, you're traumatizing yourself day in and day out, all the negativity. And then you wonder why you can't see positivity. It's all you feed yourself. And so now in order for you to see the beauty in nature and trees and stuff like that, why you would have to pour into yourself beautiful things, being with nature. How good is it for you? But if you only see that, man, it's too hot to be outside. Man, some heat is good for you to sweat sometimes. You know what I mean? Being inside is not conducive to your well-being all the time. Most people staying inside all the time, you see, with bad health conditions. You know, and so like you start to see, like the more you can take the stimuli that gets provided to it, because it's everywhere, news, social media, music, people, signage, billboards, everything has stimuli in it to attract, you know what I mean, somebody's attention in some type of way, and it's hard to cut it off.
Yeah.
You know.
Along this journey, what are some of the biggest things that you've learned?
One of the things, I kind of have a perfectionist mentality a little bit. Like I like the details. I want stuff to be a certain way sometimes. But talking with my therapist, a lot of times was, you know, having me to be like, sometimes you just gotta take a shot. Sometimes you won't be able to get the rest of the details unless you just take action. And so that's one of the things that's kind of helped me just continue to progress. It's like start somewhere, and then you'll be able to see, okay, this is how it lines up. Okay, maybe I need to put another step back in the front, but this is how it goes. And so sometimes you won't even start. Or myself, I'll procrastinate in starting something. But once I start, I'm good to go. Well, previously, I would say previously, until, you know. But I would start some things. Sometimes I would get fearful or whatever because of how it may look, how it didn't look. But now it's just to the point where it's like, okay, start somewhere, get some information, all right, and let's see where we're at. Let's see how this follows. Let's see how this flows. And so that's one of the things, sometimes just start. It's just start. How you do one thing is how you do everything. If you go half-ass, majority of the time you're gonna go half-ass when it matters. So how you do one thing is how you do everything. And I think the biggest thing that I'm putting in the action plan book was, if you do it once, it's an action. You do it twice, it's repetition. You do it a few times, it's behavior. Do it multiple months, it's a habit. Do it for a year, it becomes a lifestyle. And it's not what we do once in a while that shapes our lives, it's what we do consistently. And so, you just do it once, it's just an action. So you say, oh, you read today, but you only did this one day. Oh, it's just an action, it's just something you were doing. You do it twice, you've done it repeatedly. But then you do it a few times, it starts to become behavior. It's like, I see you doing something regularly. Do it multiple months, you start to turn it into a habit. And if you do it for a year, then it becomes lifestyle. And that was the thought process behind the mentorship program, was being able to get you to make consistent decisions for the lifestyle that you want. You want to know how it works? That's the way it works. So these steps, these things that I put together, this is how for you. These steps, because success has a certain look to it. You can't cheat it. Can't cheat it. It has a certain look to it. You gotta be disciplined. You gotta be committed. You have to want to learn. These things never change. You don't have to be doing the same things, but if any individual is going to be successful in what they want to undertake, success has a certain look. You all are going to undertake some of the same tasks to achieve what it is you want, because that's the only way that success is built. You can't cheat it. And so I'm very excited about being able to give this information in different ways that allows people to be able to assess it, and give them a different viewpoint versus the do this, don't do that. A lot of times it's just being able to talk to someone and let them hear and allow them to be able to make their own decisions, gives them the power. That's the one thing that we want to do, is empower people, because a lot of people don't feel empowered to make their own decisions. They don't feel empowered to be smart. They don't feel empowered to be on time, to be disciplined, to be these things that they think are hey, oh, that's less than, but really these are going to make you better. These are going to make you the individual that you really want to be. And so, so those are just some of the things that are part of it, man.
I appreciate you for taking the time out your day and just
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you, man. This is what I like to do. This is what I like to do. Being able to have honest conversations, being able to communicate, being able to allow somebody to be able to express themselves and give them the space to say, be vulnerable. Be vulnerable, because at the end of the day, we're perfectly imperfect. And so we need the space to say that today you might not be feeling your best, but that's okay. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. It's okay, because there's somebody else who's going through something who's not feeling their best. You see what I'm saying? There's somebody who else is going through saying, like, man, things are high right now. I may not have the money for it. You're not the only person going through things. But one thing you can't cheat is your reality. Your day-to-day lifestyle is your life, and you have to own it. Otherwise, you won't make any progress. Your mask, your band-aid, your fix, you're going to debt to have it look like what somebody else would approve of.